So China is a country, like we all know.
Really?
And China's excelled at most things, you know, be it textiles, be it, building phones, or making money, considering they invested in pretty much everything in the world. But China's always been weak in. If you track back in history, China actually created the firework wala rocket. So, but then after that, it's kind of been a little blank. Like you not really heard of much of Chinese jets or Chinese rockets or Chinese spaceships. Or, you know, that whole thing, China's been a little lagging behind. So basically, that's actually not the truth. The truth is China's actually made giant strides in astrophysics. It's just that the world doesn't know about it. Okay. So what China had, Great Wall of China. Oops, we lost Meghna. How sad. Anyway, so everybody knows, we shall try and get her back at some point. But so we all know about the Great Wall of China. Now the Great Wall isn't just a wall, you know, or like in the movie, it's just not there to keep these monsters out. The Great Wall actually is a pipeline. It's a pipeline, it's a portal, it's a corridor. It's a means of actually going to another world. Not another planet, not another galaxy, but actually, hi Meghna, good to have you back. So let me recap what you might have missed, since it is your story. So the Great Wall is actually a pipeline, a portal. Okay, and it's not a portal to another planet or another galaxy, but it's actually a portal to another reality altogether. An alternative world, so to speak. Okay, a parallel Earth. And that's what China's been working on for ages.
Okay.
Okay, which is why they've not bothered with, you know, substandard things like rockets and spaceships. Why do they need? They have a direct. So when somebody from China wants to, you know, say, "Boss, I'm bored of this world," they just go hang by the Great Wall and wait. Why are they waiting? Because actually, you know how when you have parallel lifts, एक lift आता है, खुलता है, you get into it and then you go up. So similarly, at different points in these pre-designated parts of the Great Wall, you just have to stand, and at the right point of time, a beam of light pops up, in a way like your Star Trek phaser, not phaser, sorry, what do you call it? Teleportational, that thing, beam me up wala wo waisa beam, and poof, you'll end up in the alternate reality. Now, what is the alternate reality? The alternate reality is another China, another wall, but the world there is very different. Okay, that's how. So this is the story of how one non-Chinese, a person by the name of Sandesh, by sheer accident, by virtue of the ability of being in the wrong place at the right time, actually went to the alternate reality. So he was a tourist. He'd gone to China. These were, of course, at different times than us. आज की तारीख में China में ना जाना थोड़ा मुश्किल होगा. China आ सकता है, हम जा नहीं सकते. China तो आ ही चुका है. That's it. For those of you all who are abreast with current affairs. So, in which case, but Sandesh was in China. He was on the Great Wall. He was trying to take the correct selfie, and he was so focused on taking the selfie that he did not realize the light beam. And when by the time he finished the selfie, he was not in this earth, he was in the other. अब immediately तो उसको समझ में भी नहीं आया कि he'd gone somewhere else. Till he kind of noticed that he didn't have a phone. And he's perplexed. But अभी तो हाथ में phone था. Now suddenly there is no phone. And that was because in that alternate reality, people didn't use phones to communicate. They didn't speak also. Everybody connected with their thoughts. which Sandesh realized because he saw these two people walking by and they both smiled at him, and he instantly heard in his head, "Good afternoon." And he was perplexed. And he was like, "What? What?" He spoke, and they looked perplexed because they hadn't seen people speak, and they just again looked at him
Midnight.
and said, "What?"
Midnight.
Midnight. Okay.
I gave you another word, cloud.
I know, I got the word. Don't worry. Okay. So he was like they looked at him perplexed, and in their minds they thought, "Good morning," again. And he's like, what? How am I getting these ideas? So then for a minute he started wondering, is it midnight? Am I dreaming? Am I having one of those weird dreams again? But obviously that was not the case. Now things were going to get weirder because all tech as we understand it and in this earth wasn't there. Like there were no cars there. There what you did is you snapped your fingers and thought of the place you wanted to go to and you landed up there. So as he went back, now he had come by a bus and all that, so he went back expecting the bus to take him back to where he wanted to go. And he just saw people snapping their fingers and vanishing, snapping their fingers and vanishing. And he's like perplexed. What the hell is going on? Now he started to wonder, dude, I mean, I heard about China and like their recreational drug scene and all. Did somebody give me some strange drug when they gave me that tea in the morning? Or maybe is it the effect of, you go to China, you eat strange things. Yeah, some people eat bats, some people eat rats, some people eat cats. He also decided to partake of the local cuisine, and he thought maybe this is all happening because of that. So he was getting very scared, and in his mind he's thinking, shucks, maybe I need to go back to my hotel and maybe I need to, get some medical attention. How do I go back to my hotel? Now seeing everybody do that, subconsciously he was doing this. And poof, he's gone. And he lands up at his hotel. And now he's even more perplexed. यहाँ मैं वहां से यहाँ पहुंचा कैसे? Sorry?
Mother.
And now he's really freaked. Like, so he runs to his room and he wants to call his mother and say, all these strange things are happening. What do I do? Help. Now it's also a very male tendency. When you're in deep stress, you first think of your mother. अब रूम में फोन नहीं है because these guys don't use phones to communicate na. So he was put to even more perplexed. How do I call? And he can't even call room service or anyone to say here. So he just he's thinking like saying, what do I do? How do I call room service? How do I call reception? And the door opens and of course room service presents itself and saying, can we help you, sir? You're like, huh? How did you all come? So you called us. He's like, but I didn't call you. He said, yes, sir. You said you wanted to call out. He says, well, okay, now that you're here, tell me. I can't find a phone. Sorry, sir, but what is a phone? He's like, no, you know how you used to call people? Sir, we don't have anything like that. What is it you need? This is like, my mother's back in India. I want to get in touch with her. That. Sir, but why do you need us for that? You can do it on your own. Now he's like, oh, what? Now they're wondering, something's wrong with this guy. He doesn't know the basics of communication. So see, in this alternate China, just like you communicate with thoughts, they had a basic thing that, everybody's got an intuned thing here. So you just have to, tap the right person, think of the person in your head, tap hard, and it connects. They were wondering why this guy is not doing that. In which case, they made him sense. Whom do you want to speak to? He said, mother in this thing. And they lifted up his hand and tapped. And he's like, what are you doing? What? And next thing, he could hear his mother's voice. Sandesh, what is the problem? Why did you call? Don't you know I'm in the middle of doing my favorite exercise? Now, Sandesh was even freaked out. His mother doesn't do exercise. His mother sits in front of the TV, has chai and watches soaps. Now suddenly there is this mother who's talking about things like exercise. Like, ye kya ho gaya? Says, but what do you want? Says, no, all these strange things are happening. I snapped my fingers and I traveled. She said, so how do you think you went to China? Did you think you got into one strange flying machine and went there? Now that's exactly what had happened to Sandesh. Now, he had gotten into a flying machine and traveled. very confused. He's really freaked. What's going on? All of this is getting too much for him. So she's like, okay, now stop irritating me. If you really want help, you come back home. Like, but how do I come back home? Like, come back the way you
Waterfall.
came. He's like, kya bakwas kar rahi hai meri maa? What is going on? And she said, okay, now I can't waste time. If you want to, you come back home. Varna, just look at waterfalls. And they're like, what? Look at waterfalls means? Now see, in this other alternate world, they don't have doctors. They don't have therapists. They don't have anything. Basically, when you're not well, if you're mentally unwell, you sit there and look at a waterfall, and the soothing thing of the water takes care of you. If you're physically unwell, you go stand below the waterfall. The soothing power of the water takes care of you, which is what the mother meant. अब इसको तो समझ में नहीं आया. He's looking and saying, waterfall, waterfall, waterfall. Obviously, he's clicked. Sandesh lands up in the waterfall. Next thing you know, he's under the water, pani beh raha hai, and he's like, suddenly he's like a male version of Mandakini because he was wearing white. And he's totally perplexed. And of course, there are other people under the waterfall also going through their respective treatments. And then Sandesh is like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? Now, because he's thinking it, these are coming to the other people. The other people are looking at him and saying, please, are thinking, treatment, silence, what are you doing? And they're not speaking. Now, Sandesh is getting freaked out. He's like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know where I've landed up. I want to go home. I want to go home. Poof.
Tight slap.
And Sandesh was back at the Great Wall of China. But in his Great Wall of China, where, everything is normal, people are talking, people are roaming around. And then he gets a tap with his tour guide and saying, sir, where are you? Our bus has been waiting for the last 1 hour. This is terrible behavior. You Indians are really unmanageable. Come. Sandesh बेचारा is fully sick. अभी ये लोग बात करें, अभी बस है, अभी ये तो पूरा होता है. होटल जाता है, वहां फोन भी है, फोन लेके मम्मी को फोन करता है, मम्मी को फोन करके बोलते हैं क्या हो रहा है? Why were you exercising? And what? Like, what exercise? And when did you call me? And what is wrong with you? You just come back home and I'll slap you. And Sandesh is like, okay. And he snaps his fingers. And of course, nothing happens. And that's the end of the story. Thank you, Meghna. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much.